Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing something that I kind of didn't have nerves about until I literally started to film the video. I was like, I'm probably gonna be upset. I'm gonna be reading 1-star reviews of my favorite books, like my 5-star and beyond favorite books. I've seen this go around and I was like, okay, like that seems like pretty funny, like they're polarizing opinions, you know what I mean? But now I'm thinking like how much I adore, like my heart bleeds for these books, and like I'm gonna read a 1-star, like I started to say something mean, but like I don't know. So I'm gonna go on Goodreads and we're gonna see what people are saying. Okay, so obviously the first book, it can't be that many. Fast by Millie Belizaire. If you don't know, that is my absolute favorite book. So we're gonna see what the folks are saying about her. The wrong people are saying about her. It'd be so funny if there are no 1-star reviews. Okay, let's see. Oh no, not me almost editing my review. There are 3 1-star reviews out of 4,446. So clearly those people don't know what they're talking about. Let's see what they had to say. Okay, there are 3 1-star ratings, but only one of them actually left a review. The title of it says boring. Yes, the subject matter was daring, but other than that, I found this book to be extremely dry. There's a lot to be said about the tone of this book. It just fell flat to me. I found myself pushing through it so that I could finish. The story started out strong and just kind of fizzled. I thought Adult Caprice was a horrible friend to okay, I guess they're going into spoilers a little bit, but this person seems okay, like it's not terrible, like I'm not shattered, okay, especially because there's only one person who feels this way or feels strongly enough to even say anything about it. But it's fine, like if you maybe it's like a wrong timing type situation, or it's just something that you don't, I want to say it's hard for you to like sympathize with, but I found that very hard to believe. Like I don't know, I feel like if you are not bleeding for this book, I'm really trying not to hurt anyone's feelings or like to say anything mean, but I feel like you just maybe you just live a very, very sheltered life, and like you just can't imagine someone going through trauma or someone reacting to trauma in this way, and like it's just like it's boring to you because you can't feel it through the pages the way the rest of the 4,400 people felt it through the pages. But thankfully that's the only 1-star like review, not 1-star rating, but 1-star review for Fast. So I'm hanging in there. Okay, next 5-star book, I'm going to look up A Love Song for Ricki Wilde by Tia Williams. That book has been living in my brain for like a month, maybe more. Like every time I see it in the store, my heart skips a beat. I just now I feel like this one is going to have some more critical reviews. Because it's traditionally published. More people have read it. That one only had 4,000 reviews. This one has 25,000 and change. So just off of ratio, there's bound to be more 1-star reviews here. Let me see. All right, so there are less than 1% of people who have posted ratings have rated this 1 star. There are 240 out of 25,000. So again, not terrible. Okay, let's see what the people have to say. Easily a contender for the worst book that I've read this year. That's crazy. It's February, first of all, dramatic. This person says, I was not a fan of Williams's last viral book, and if not for the book club that I participate in, I probably wouldn't have rushed out to get this on hold. It says there's a pacing problem. The book wants to do some pretty big things. Okay, I can see that. So when I first read the book, I wouldn't say there's a pacing issue. It was just a connection issue for me at the beginning. Like, who are these people? Why are we doing all this jumping? Like, how are the people in the present connected to the people in the past? And I feel I struggled through that with any time jump book where it's not clear that like the same characters from timeline A are the same characters in timeline B and we're just following them in different timelines. If it's cast A and cast B and somehow they meet in the middle somewhere in the book, those are harder for me to follow or to connect with because I have confusion for a decent bit. So I'm not mad at that. He just gives a brief synopsis. They said they feel like the reason why Ricki's family is against her dreams seems very, very fake. Again, I feel like this might be a tribute to someone's like privilege of never having experienced like negative family structure or negative family criticism or being the black sheep or you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel justified to you because it's not. It's not justified. It doesn't make sense why someone would hate that you're opening up a flower shop in Harlem, New York. Like, why would you hate that? And it's successful. Let's see. This is a very long review. I'm really not about to read all of it, but he had a lot to say about a 1 star. So, honestly, a lot of these have a lot to say about the 1 star. I'm not gonna read these literally theses. Someone else says, I only finished this so I could complain about it at a book club. Okay, I don't have anything to say to that. Okay, someone else says, I really loved 7 Days in June. And that's the only reason why I want to read another book by T.L. Williams. But this book was a huge disappointment. Just so much unnecessary information to the point where I skimmed through the majority of the book. Do not recommend. Okay, so I can understand. I can understand your issue with like, oh, it's a lot of unnecessary information. I don't understand the 1 star. Like, come on, bro. Like, okay, I'm gonna tone it down. I can understand that they're feeling like there's a lot of unnecessary information. For example, she comes to Harlem and she really wants to capture or incorporate Harlem culture and Harlem history into her flower shop in some way. So we do get a lot of Harlem history. Now, if you don't have particular interest in history or Harlem's history or flowers for that matter, it might go over your head. It might be a glazing over the page type situation. But for somebody who does have interest in those things, that just further drives home the connection to the character and to the story and to the plot, and to the impact of this character's like experience stepping out on faith and moving away from her family and going to this unfamiliar territory with this unfamiliar person and starting a business and finding the beauty in that and being able to incorporate your passion into your leap of faith. Maybe I'm like, obviously I hold this book near and dear to my heart because I freaking love it. It's 5 star. But if you haven't found yourself connecting with the book or the story, I can very much see those parts, like the Harlem history or even like the flashback in the time for cast of characters A or whatever. not connecting. The music, if you don't like historical fiction, like historical New York or like Harlem Renaissance type of things, like you might feel like this person felt, because 7 Days in June, yes, I was also set in New York, if I'm not mistaken. It didn't dive into that angle of history and stuff like that. It was just the setting for the book, versus this one, they very much immerse you in the book and you feel like you're in those time periods and you are experiencing this with the main character, Ricki. So if you don't like it, you could find it, you don't like the history portion, I could see you finding that portion unnecessary information. But if you don't mind it, it's enlightening. Someone says, straight up not good, LMFAO. Thanks. That was valuable information there. Okay, so someone else says, this is the last one that I'm going to read. I will start by asking the writer to please tell us who actually wrote 7 Days in June, because there is absolutely no way that this was the same person. The only element of that writer that I felt in this book was in Breeze Walker's first few chapters. The voice was different, the writing style was different, everything about the current timeline is horrible. What do you mean? There are points where you can't tell whose point of view you're in because you're in both the main characters' heads at the same time. Instead of describing certain things, the writer often refers you to either a movie or a character from a show, which I think is very lazy. The prose is very cringe. I simply did not believe that the characters were in love, but they remind you every second. The explanation for the insta-love makes it feel even more cheap. Overall, it was horrible. Okay, so obviously I don't agree with what this person is saying, especially the hold up. Like, wait, let me back up to the who wrote 7 Days in June, because it's totally different. I don't think so at all. I think it is very evident that Tia Williams wrote both 7 Days in June and A Love Song for Ricki Wilde, because it is unlike the writing that I've seen from modern contemporary fiction / romance writers at all. It's very poetic. It is very lyrical. It gives old time. It gives passionate. It gives like nostalgic in a way. Like, it is so, if I didn't say lyrical, I think it's so beautiful to connect with. And I felt that way about 7 Days in June. It just has a different tone. I think they said that. Yeah, they're or it says a different voice. Yes, it's a different tone. It's a different story. This is obviously, very obviously, a love story, a love song. And that is going to be the undertone. 7 Days in June, I feel like, yes, it's contemporary fiction / romance, but I feel like both of them can be argued that way. But I feel like that one was more on the contemporary fiction because it dealt with so much mental health healing and familial disorientation and substance abuse, like so much more than just a romance. That book can definitely go in my category of way more than just a romance. And it's, other than that, it's just a little sprinkle, a little razzle dazzle of romance on that one. This one, the undertone of everything in this is romance. So therefore it is more poetic. It's more lyrical. It's more flowery, if you will. So yeah, I don't agree with that. Let's see. They said they don't like the timeline. Again, if you're not one for time jumps, which I personally probably am not one for time jumps either, it can take a while to connect with the book. But it's not that the whole book was jumping all over the place. It's just the beginning. And I feel like if you felt that way, but the storyline and the characters were eventually something that grasped you, I would give it a second read. I definitely want to give it a second read myself. It being a 5-star means I'm definitely going to read it again and again and again. And I think it will just hit different and it'll have a greater impact the second time around. So if you weren't a fan of the time jumping situation, now that you know what you know, you can go back and read from the beginning with like a different viewpoint. She says she doesn't like mentions from movies or characters from TV shows because she thinks it's lazy. Not necessarily. I don't think it's necessarily lazy. It is a way to, again, connect with the reader. That is a direct method of trying to connect with the person who has picked up your book and who is reading it right now, versus making it extra flowery and extra descriptive, which can pull some people out of the story by trying to describe each and everything. I get overdoing the references to pop culture and stuff like that can be very annoying, but I don't recall that in the book. It's been a few months, but I'm going to give that one the benefit of the doubt. But I think this one, as far as like being one star, I can see this person. For me, a 1 star means I don't like absolutely anything about this book. And I can feel that through this person, that they don't like anything about this book. They say they don't feel like the people were actually in love. Like, they don't like the history. They don't like the pacing. They don't like the writing style. Like, they don't like the time. Like, they don't like anything. So this 1 star makes sense for what this person's preferences are. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. The other people, I don't know. All right, I have literally talked so long about 2 books. Let's see, what's another 5? Ooh, The Air He Breathes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so The Air He Breathes has 68,000 ratings, and it has 2% 1-star reviews at 1,599, so almost 1,600 1 star. So that's quite a bit. Yikes, this person literally just put a stamp and it says fail. That's all, it just says fail. Another person says, I know, I'm just as shocked as the rest of you. No review. PM me if you have questions. Why would you do that? Jeez. Someone else said DNF at 31% because they're saying smirk all the time. Me and the word smirk are not friends. I don't mind the word every once in a while in a story, but if it's on every other page, it's a negative for me. I'm sure there's a story in The Air He Breathes, but I didn't see it because all I saw was a word. Okay, so they're irrationally triggered by the word smirk, and therefore they gave this entire book 1 star, and they DNF'd it at 31%. That's kind of childish. I'm sorry, I tried to hold it in, but that's kind of childish. Oi, okay. Someone else DNFing at 40%. I'm not gonna read that. Here's another one. I'm not entirely sure where all the 5-star reviews came from. Honestly, this book just was not for me. The writing style was very telling rather than showing, and I felt the dialogues was really choppy. Also, the coincidence of all the deaths was a little too ridiculous and over the top. No 2 families have that many unnatural deaths. I may be crucified for this review because it seems that I'm the first 1 star, but I didn't get the appeal of it, and unfortunately it was a DNF for me. Death happens all the time, literally every day, literally every second people are dying. And if you don't think that there can be a possibility of one person dying on this side of town and another person dying on this side of town, and having a connection, or people dying right next to each other and having a connection that they don't know about, like, that is possible and that does happen. I find it strange that that's why they decided to rate it 1 star, because they couldn't suspend the disbelief of people dying. Okay. All right, so I think I'm going to end it here. I've definitely been chitter-chattering along for quite a while about these books. I didn't talk about as many books as I wanted to because I kind of got caught up defending A Love Song for Ricki Wilde. Okay, I'm gonna go down for that one. But yeah, I can't say I enjoyed this, okay? I can't say that I did, but if you guys did, and you liked my analytical analysis of why the books don't deserve 1 stars, or why these people are wrong for rating them 1 stars, or not giving them a chance at the DNF, like, or basing it off of other people's experiences. What are you even saying right now? How dare you? How dare you? And I can't hold you and say that I haven't rated books 1 star. I definitely have. And I've given my reasonings for each. And I have rated a book 1 star that I DNF'd. But I also put in my review why it was a DNF and it was a non-starter. Like, and I understand, but at the same time, I still love the author. Or at the same time, like, I would pick up something else from the author. It's just, this just wasn't the book for me. But I don't know. This was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I actually liked going to war for my peeps, for my books. And I'll do it again. Okay. So if you want to see more reactions to 1-star reviews, I have many more 5-star books or beyond 5-star books. A couple of these were beyond 5 stars, so if I have more of those. So if you want to see more, definitely give the video a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments if you know of any 5-star beyond books for me and you want to see me react to those specifically. Leave it down in the comments below, because I definitely will. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so before moving on, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.